Hey everyone, Kyle McGee here. Welcome to the first edition of Cal Reviews Pay-Per-Views. I'm not sure if we're going to come up with a different name for it down the line, but unfortunately we couldn't do our live stream today. We had a lot of technical difficulties, so it gave me the idea to do a pay-per-view review for WWE Crown Jewel. Stay tuned to the end of the video, and I want to make a special announcement about a project that Drew Blazer and I will have going forward. So make sure you stay tuned to the end. But here we go. Let's get into the action. So I'll be honest with everybody. The pre-show match between the Usos and the Hurt Business, I didn't really pay much attention to. I saw the Usos won. I can't really give it a grade. So let's kick things off with the first official match of the night, or the day, depending on what you want to call it. And that was Edge and Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match. This has been a long building feud, and it started with their match at SummerSlam, which had a great build, and it continued from there. You had the amazing match that they had at the Madison Square Garden SmackDown that resulted in Edge being taken out in an ambulance and written off of TV for a little bit. Became a blood feud, essentially. So this is one of the few times where the cell itself actually felt warranted. And that rarely happens in WWE nowadays because, we have the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. So there's a Hell in a Cell match or two or three every single year, whether there's a blood feud going on or not. This one, it felt warranted after the way that this match had been built. And, you had Edge having Seth Rollins invade his home while he was at SmackDown, things like that. It was just a terrific build. And this match had so much brutality in it. These guys went at it from bell to bell, tons of weapon spots. You had one of the more creative table spots I've ever seen where Seth goes up to the top rope. It looks like he's going to go for a possible Phoenix Splash, and Edge shoves him off the turnbuckle. He bounces off the cage and goes through the table. He brings the ladder into the ring, and Seth Rollins later ends up sunset flip power bombing him through the table off of the ladder. Just a really incredible spot. He pulls out a chain and uses it for the super kick, and they're setting up the exact same finish that they had at the Madison Square Garden pay-per-view where Edge is just completely out of it. Seth goes to give him a stomp on the chair with the chain on. Edge, being the ultimate opportunist, lifts the chair up and crotches Edge on it, or Seth on it, I'm sorry. A terrific moment, and then Seth gets some poetic justice thrown his way when Edge hits him with some super kicks and curb stomps him onto the chair for the 1, 2, 3. An absolutely terrific matchup. I'm going to give this one an A+. It was a hell of a way to open up, and one of the best Hell in a Cell matches of the modern era. Could easily probably go up there as one of the better Hell in a Cell matches of all time. Definitely not the best of all time, but I think should go up there as one of the better ones that we've ever seen, especially in the modern era. After that, had some commercial breaks so they could clean up the carnage at ringside. And then after that, we went to Monsoor versus Mustafa Ali. It was a pretty decent match. A lot of good spots between the two. You had Monsoor finally showing the fire that Mustafa Ali has been, wanting from him, this edge, this killer instinct that he's wanted from him this entire time. And, the match ends with Mustafa Ali, I believe he went for a, what did he go for? I think he went for a 450 splash while he had Monsoor hung up. Monsoor got out of the way and ends up hitting a bit of a hangman's neck breaker off the ropes, gets the 3 count. Great win for Monsoor, continues his winning ways in Saudi Arabia. Their hometown boy gets his win. I'll give this match a B. It was decent, nothing special, but it was a pretty good match between the two. After the match, Mustafa Ali continues his heel ways and starts attacking Monsoor when we hear a theme song that we don't know, and out comes this mystery man. He's got, a karate gi on and a belt, and he's got his face covering. Takes it off. Apparently he was a Olympic silver medalist for the karate games. Crowd went absolutely nuts for him, so obviously he's a big deal over in Saudi Arabia. I thought it was a cool moment, even though I didn't fully know who the guy was, but it was still a pretty cool moment. Threw a lightning fast kick on Mustafa Ali and sent the crowd home happy with he and Monsoor walking out together. So again, that was a pretty fun one. I'll give it a B. After that was RK Bro versus AJ and Omos. There was the hilarity during the entrance of RK Bro where they come out and then Riddle does the, hold on, 1 minute, and goes to the back. He takes a minute or two, and then he comes out riding a camel instead of his scooter. Hilarious moment. You tell Orton's telling the what the hell is happening thing. Really funny, really good moment for the crowd. It was a decent match. There's never going to be a bad match with Orton and AJ Styles working together, in my opinion. Omos comes in the ring and gets some dominance going. They end up taking him out of the match at ringside. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, gets caught in the RKO, the now classic spot between those two. He tags Riddle in. Riddle hits his move and gets the 3 count. Very fun match. RK Bro retains. I'll give it a B-. It wasn't spectacular. It was fun, but it was a little short, and while fun, wasn't anything great. I'm hoping this is the end of the feud between AJ and Omos against RK Bro. This has been going on for a while now, and this was a good time to end it, I think. And I think that might be why the grade is only a B- for me. I think it's just we've seen this way too many times. Next up, the finals of the Queen's Crown. Selena Vega versus Dewdrop. You could tell the crowd didn't really care for this one. They were dead quiet for the entire match. I could chalk that up to them not knowing who these two were, because I know there's apparently a thing where the women's matches aren't truly broadcast in Saudi Arabia, from what I remember hearing. That could have had something to do with it. I think it could just be that these are two relatively lower card females and the crowd just didn't really care. It was short and sweet. Zelina Vega gets the upset win and beats Dewdrop and is now the Queen of the Ring, the winner of the Queen Crown tournament. I personally still think Shayna Baszler should have won. Thought it was really weird that they spent all this time rebuilding her over the past few weeks just to have her lose clean as a whistle to Dewdrop and then not even make it to the finals. I know it's probably because they wanted a heel versus face matchup, and I'm glad Zelina Vega got the moment. This match was nothing special, although it was decent, but the crowd just didn't care. I give it a C-. Up next, Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Goldberg deciding to do a little bit of throwback to his time playing Santa Claus in the movie Santa's Sleigh, says he's going to kill Bobby Lashley in this one. And starts off, and during Goldberg's entrance, as he's getting in the ring, Lashley pulls a chain out from his tights, wraps it around his knuckles. Goldberg swarms him in the corner, pounds away at him for a minute, and then Lashley gets the upper hand with the chain, beating on him, starts dominating the match for a while, beats on Goldberg with a chair, wraps his knee up with the chair, stomps on it. Some cool spots. Goldberg took a hell of a front bump for Lashley's spear before that. It was pretty good up to that point. And then Lashley decides he's going to put him away by spearing him through the table. Goldberg gets out of the way at the last second. Lashley just dives headfirst to that table. Pretty cool spot. And then you have Goldberg takes over the offensive, hits a spear in the jackhammer, but then takes his gloves off. He's not going for the pin. He wants to hurt Bobby Lashley. He said before the match he was going to kill Bobby Lashley. Devolves into a little bit of a brawl at ringside. Goldberg with a kind of slow but still pretty good spear through the barricade. Starts beating him up at ringside. He's got the gloves off now, and he's beating him up at ringside. They're working their way up the ramp, and Lashley's trying to get the hell out of there. And then the Hurt Business shows up after Lashley calls for them. They come out with kendo sticks. Shelton charges at him. He gets a kick to the gut and gets, clobbered. Cedric Alexander takes a huge back body drop on the rampway. And then Lashley and Goldberg now both have the kendo sticks. Lashley kind of swings back and tries to go for this huge kendo stick shot, ends up eating one to the gut. Lashley gets beaten down with the kendo stick for a minute, and then Goldberg spears him off of the stage through a little, platform that they had off to the side. 1, 2, 3. Goldberg wins in Saudi Arabia. The crowd is nuts for it. I'm going to surprise everybody. I'm going to give this match an A-. It wasn't a great technical masterpiece, so I'm not grading it off of that, but I'm grading it for what it was. And what it was a big hoss battle, the longest match of Goldberg's run in WWE since 2016, and easily probably his best outside of the WrestleMania 33 match with Brock Lesnar, which was just a big hoss battle. This was fun, the crowd was electric, and it was the type of match that Goldberg should work in if he's going to be in the WWE going forward. Keep him out of these title matches, have him fun. You could argue this really did hurt the credibility of the Hurt Business, and that's my one true knock on it, and I even considered downing the grade on this one for that. Hopefully Bobby Lashley can recover. It was very obvious that Bobby Lashley lost the title because of this match, as well as giving Big E a push. But very fun match, very hard-hitting, brutal, physical match, and I truly enjoyed it. Up next, we had Xavier Woods versus Finn Balor, the King of the Ring finals. Unfortunately, the crowd was kind of dead for this one. You could tell that their energy had just been sapped by watching that Goldberg and Bobby Lashley match. It's still a pretty good technical match. They were ran short on time. I think they got just shy of 10 minutes, and I felt like this match really could have used more time to get going. That was the one thing that I think hurt it. A lot of chain wrestling to start, a lot of back and forth on their strikes. There was a lot of reversals in this one. It was good. I did truly enjoy this matchup for how short it was. The lack of crowd interest, or crowd buzz, I should say, might have taken it down a notch for me. But I felt like if these guys could have had 5-6 more minutes, they could have done a really good job, because they were starting to tell a really good story. But they went straight from, countering each other on strikes and going back and forth on that, straight to the finishing sequences. It was still pretty good. Xavier Woods goes for the elbow, and Finn Balor counters it. He hits the sling blade. He hits the drop kick into the corner, goes for the coup de grace. It gets countered. Xavier ends up hitting his walk in the top rope elbow drop. 1, 2, 3. Xavier Woods realizes his destiny and is now the King of the Ring. Awesome, awesome moment. It's nice to see that the New Day have now all gotten their shining moments as single stars. All three of these guys deserve it. Kofi Kingston with Kofi Mania years ago, Big E now the WWE Champion, and now Xavier Woods is the King of the Ring, as he, I believe, heads to SmackDown going forward. So if he and Kofi are on SmackDown tomorrow night, that will be interesting to see. Great moment. I give it a B+. I think had it gotten 5 to 6 more minutes, it could have easily been an A- or an A. But still, a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. Up next, the WWE Championship match. Big E versus Drew McIntyre. This was a physical matchup. It was a lot of strength-based moves. These guys were, trading belly-to-belly suplexes back and forth. It was really impressive watching Big E belly-to-belly suplex Drew McIntyre, who's 6'5", and towers over him. It was a lot of that. These guys were hitting big moves on each other. Big E became one of the few people to ever kick out of the Claymore, so a big feather in his cap. They were really pushing Big E. He went to spear. He went to do his traditional spearing Drew McIntyre off the apron, and that's when McIntyre ran in and did the Claymore kick. It's epic. Big E hits the second big ending of the match, gets the 1, 2, 3. Great WWE title match. Doesn't hurt Drew McIntyre in any way, in my opinion, but man, does it make Big E a much bigger and much more credible star, and I can't wait to see his title reign going forward. I hope he has a long title reign and brings some credibility to his character and to the title. Lashley, I think, built up his character a lot with it, built up his credibility a lot with his run, and I hope they can do the same thing with Big E. Big E is long overdue to be in this spot, and I'm so glad he finally got it. Then we had the SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. And ladies and gentlemen, this match is, I believe, the triple threat we were hoping for when the women got to main event WrestleMania at WrestleMania 35. These women put on a clinic. A lot of great spots. You had Bianca showcasing her strength where she military presses Sasha Banks and then transitions to only having one arm. These women there are so many amazing moments in this match. It's almost hard to really break it down from that aspect. But they had so many just amazing matches. If you did not watch the show, go out of your way to watch this one and the Hell in a Cell match from the start. Easily the two best matches of the night. They get Becky gets the double disarmor on them at one point, and Bianca uses that to try and get a double KOD. Doesn't end up getting it. Sasha hits her with a backstabber. You had the moment where They had the double submission locked in on Bianca and ended up fighting with each other over it. Just so many great moments in this match. Like, I can't even begin to explain it. You had Sasha goes to powerbomb Bianca on the outside, but Bianca's holding on the ropes and she's too strong. You know, she actually lifts her full legs off the ground. Sasha does, kicking and flailing, trying to pull her down, and she can't do it. Bianca backflips off, gets a super kick to the stomach. You know, they go to do this tornado DDT. Bianca lands, and Becky just dives off of the announce table. Just, I can't put into words enough how great this match was. Finally, the KOD lands, and she goes to pin she goes to pin Becky, but Sasha and her end up tussling. She ends up throwing Sasha out of the ring. Sasha ends up throwing Bianca out of the ring. I'm all over the place with this one. Sorry. But Sasha ends up throwing Bianca out of the ring, goes for the pin. Becky counters her into a schoolboy and holds the ropes and gets the 3 count as Bianca gets in the ring to try and break it up. You know, Becky gets the cheap win. It doesn't hurt Sasha or Becky or Bianca. Becky retains the title in epic fashion. She is still the SmackDown Women's Champion as she transitions to Raw, and Charlotte is still the Raw Women's Champion as she transitions to SmackDown. I'm expecting over the next week we'll get the title swapping. I don't imagine they're going to keep them, the Raw Women's Champion on SmackDown and vice versa. But a great match. A+, another A+ on this card. For different reasons than the Hell in a Cell match. The Hell in a Cell match was because it was what a Hell in a Cell match should be. And was a great match in its own right. But this was what you want from a triple threat match. This was the triple threat match we all wanted at WrestleMania 35. These are easily 3 of the best performers on the women's roster and 3 of the better performers on the entire roster in general. I truly enjoyed this matchup and can't say enough great things about it. We are winding down now, and there's only one more match on the card, and that is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the Universal Champion versus the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. It's weird seeing Paul Heyman in somebody else's corner. They had teased it the entire time going into this, where whose side is Paul Heyman really on? And Brock keeps laying the seeds of doubt. No, Paul, why didn't you tell Roman I was going to be at SummerSlam? They're questioning him, and Roman having Paul tell Brock, I'm not with you, I'm with Roman now. And then on the contract signing on the Go Home SmackDown, Roman calling him a dumbass for just signing the contract without reading it, and Brock just laughs at him and says, I already read the damn contract this morning with my advocate, Paul Heyman. Just laying the seeds of doubt. And I think it's great storytelling because even if Paul never does betray Brock, which I think would be better storytelling if Paul stays with Roman, because now we show that Brock's not just some dumb, big, giant beast. He's learned from Paul Heyman all these years. He's studied what he does, and he's playing mind games. It was just so great. But that's the story going into this, is I'm walking in with the Universal Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns, and I guarantee you I will walk up the ramp after the match with the Universal Champion. But he doesn't say who it's going to be. Great bit of storytelling. Match kicks off, and actually some really smart ring work by these guys. They come in swinging at each other. They lock up. Big hoss match. Every time Brock goes for a German suplex early, Roman is at the ropes, and he can't get him. Roman starts taking over. And finally, he gets some Germans going. They go to the outside. Roman gets the advantage on the outside, throws him into the turnbuckle post. A great spot with Brock Lesnar because he always throws himself head first into them. Roman with a huge dive to the outside. Roman starts to take over the match, hits the spear once he gets in the ring. And at 1, 2, and a kick out at 2.5. Roman gets desperate, starts landing some Superman punches, finally yells the ooh-ah, goes for the spear, and Brock jumps over, kind of like he did with Goldberg at WrestleMania 33. Roman goes into the turnbuckle. Brock falls down. They go back and forth. We get some Suplex City action. He hits the F5. Roman kicks out. We keep going back and forth. Another F5, and it takes out referee Charles Robinson. He goes for the pin, and Robinson is not there for it. So Roman lifts him up by the pants, just like he did at Extreme Rules 2012. A nice little throwback there. Drops him. Robinson rolls out of the ring. Lesnar gets hit with a spear by Roman Reigns. Still no referee there after a minute. Lesnar sees that Heyman is holding the title, and he calls for it, and Heyman throws it between the two of them and says, "You know what to do with it." And they both kind of look at the title, look at each other, and we get a nice little throwback to the Go Home Raw from WrestleMania 31 as these two play a tug of war with the Universal Championship. Reigns ends up not winning. Lesnar ends up taking the belt, and then bam, the Usos show up with a double super kick. Reigns hits Lesnar with the title. A referee comes down from the ramp. 1, 2, 3, and Heyman walks out with the Universal Heavyweight Champion of the world, Roman Reigns. Controversial ending, to be sure. You see Brock seething once he finally gets up, and it's great long-term storytelling. I know a lot of people are going to either hate this ending or love this ending. I liked it because I know it's long-term storytelling, and people complain so often WWE doesn't do long-term storytelling anymore. It's one pay-per-view at a time. They're doing a long build, and I guarantee this is building to WrestleMania. I predict for you that Brock Lesnar is going to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. This was great storytelling, a very fun match, one of the better matches these two have ever had. Controversial ending, but it's great because it's setting it up for later on down the road. I'm going to give this match a B. Tremendous show from start to finish. This easily has to be one of, if not WWE's best pay-per-views of the year. Their shows for Saudi Arabia not always known for being so great, but this one exceeded expectations all across. The match of the night, easily the Hell in a Cell match between Edge and Seth Rollins, with the women's triple threat closely following behind it. An amazing event overall. I'm going to give this an event an overall grade of an A-. I was teetering between A and A-, but I'm going to give it an A-. A tremendous event overall. Easily the WWE pay-per-view event of 2021. Absolutely surprised by that. It's too bad that we couldn't get the live stream to work today, but here you get your recap instead. Thank you guys for watching this, and I said, stay tuned to the very end, and you will get some big news. Coming forward, Kyle Flexstorm McGee and Drew Blazer will have a show together on the show, upgrading frequently. We won't know. I can't tell you how often it'll be. I don't know if it'll be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, what have you. But going forward, you can expect Drew Blazer and Kyle McGee to star in Wrestling the Past, where we take a look at the history of wrestling and talk about different topics, be it big moments, controversial moments, bad moments, what have you. We're going to take a look at the past of wrestling and dive into it and give our opinions. You might see some heated debates about these topics. You might see us in agreement. You might want to debate with us in the comments. But Wrestling the Past, coming soon. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. I'll see you again soon.